Hi, everyone. Let's try that again now that I'm not on mute. Welcome to the Financial Tips for this Uncertain Time webinar. Before we get started, there's a couple of housekeeping tips we want to keep you in mind of. To reduce the background noise, everyone has been muted. This webinar is being recorded and we posted on our website. We are also going Facebook Live for this event right now, so some of us may be watching on Facebook, so welcome. After our presentation, we then will allow for questions. You can ask a question via the chat box or unmute yourself and ask a question verbally. Now, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to turn it over to Courtney Thompson, our President and CEO.
Thanks, Kim. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We're excited to present this webinar. We've been having a really good time with our weekly webinars, and we hope that we've been providing great tips and beneficial information for you. So today we have asked two of our local experts in different areas to come in and talk with you. And we also, as Kim mentioned, are streaming it on Facebook Live because we want to really reach out to our community. And then we also want to thank Christy Williams from the United Way. She is streaming on her page too, I believe, to her people. So if you guys have any questions, please type them into the chat as we go, and then we will save some time at the end for Q&A. I'm going to introduce our two speakers, and then we'll let them get started. First up, we'll have Kelsey Meredith with the Salvation Army. She's going to be talking to us about rent issues and rent assistance, and she has some great information for us today. And then we have Sarah Landrum from DuPont Community Credit Union. They have been really out front recently with information, handouts, a website that's been really beneficial with some information for anyone in the community. So we're excited to have Sarah share with us as well. So first, I'm going to give it to Kelsey and let her take it away. And I believe she is going to share her presentation. Thanks, Kelsey.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate this opportunity. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys. See if I can get this up here. All right. So I'm going to talk about rent assistance and why it's important to pay your rent. The first thing I like to say is that it's important to pay your rent because you don't want to have to worry about finding funds later on. You don't want to be caught off guard and thinking, oh, where is this money going to come from? Paying your rent is important because that's where you live and you want to make sure you have a place to live. Also, you have the funds right now. So you want to make sure that you're paying it right now, not waiting 2 months down the road, 3 months down the road to pay your rent. Even though it may not be due at this time right now, or you may have a little bit of leeway, you want to make sure that you're just going ahead and paying it just like a regular bill so that you're not having to worry about that later, because that could just add so much stress upon you and you don't really want to have that added stress. So you want to make sure that you are doing that up front. You want to make sure that you do it now because you have the funds to do it right now. And if you find that you don't have the funds, you can certainly reach out to us and we'd be more than happy to help you. Another reason why it's important to pay your rent now is because it'll put your mind at ease. You won't have to be like, oh my gosh, I need to pay that later, and worry about that and have to worry about all these other things that you're dealing with. So it'll also put your mind at ease. Another reason why you need to pay your rent is because it also helps secure that you have that place. So that you don't find that you are, ending up, on the street. So it's very important to make sure that you pay your rent now. Now I'm going to talk about some of the things that we offer for assistance. Currently right now with COVID-19 happening, we're continuing to help with rent assistance, but we're also helping with mortgage assistance, because I know there's many people out there that have mortgages and they're just wondering, well, how am I going to be able to pay this, this huge bill that I have right now? We are helping with that for the time being with those that are affected right now with COVID-19. We're also helping with hotels, those that find themselves living in a hotel as their place of living. We are helping with that as well. We're also currently helping with grocery deliveries. So anybody that is not able to get out and get groceries or find those daily necessities that they need can call our office, and we are more than happy to help them by delivering groceries or whatever they might need to their home. Now, those adjusted areas that we are assisting with, we will help up to 2 quarters. So we can help you in this quarter and also in the next quarter as well. We also continue to help with utility assistance, our Pathway of Hope program, groceries, as I mentioned, in our food pantry, clothing, household items, toiletries, baby items, and so on. But it's very important right now that I stress that you do make sure that you are paying your bills. You don't want to be set behind by a couple months, because again, that's going to add stress upon you. And you want to make sure that you are, upfront with paying those bills. If you do find yourself in a crisis, you do find that you've either been laid off, or you've been reduced in the amount of hours of work that you have, you can certainly, again, like I said, call us, and we are more than happy to assist you. And so, just don't be afraid to reach out. And speaking of reaching out, you can certainly reach out to us by phone, but you can also check out our website. I have here on the screen our website. We keep it very updated. We try to keep it also in line with our Facebook page, which is also on the screen. You can check that out as well. So if you have any questions, but again, you can always feel free to call us. Our number is 540-885-8157. But again, just make sure you're paying those bills. It's very important to make sure that you have that house for your family and you're able to take care of your family in that way. But if you need some help, you can definitely give us a call.
Thank you so much, Kelsey. Thank you for that. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to submit them in the chat box, or feel free to unmute yourself and ask the question. Let's see. Sorry, Courtney's on her way with the presentation for Sarah, and we're just having a little bit of technical difficulties, but we're going to roll with it anyway. So if you want, just bear with us for one moment. Sarah, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing at DuPont, and then we will go ahead and get started.
Okay, well, thank you. And I just first of all want to say good afternoon to everyone. It is my pleasure to be with you all today. I am certainly so excited to be able to share the information with you. I would also like to take the time to thank Courtney for inviting me to be a part of the important and informational webinar. We know that during these times of uncertainty, trying to manage your finances during a pandemic can be quite overwhelming as well as exhausting. So we want to be able to provide you with the best information, resources that will help you to navigate through this process and just, the COVID-19 pandemic in general. So we have put together the webinar today to talk about some different ways that can help you be successful during this time. So we're going to talk about budgeting your money. That's the first start. How you're spending it. What does your expenses look like? We're also going to talk about ways to identify other income sources. Sometimes people have income right in front of them and they don't realize it. We're also going to talk a little bit about paying for housing. I know Kelsey talked about that earlier, so she's covered a lot of that. I'm just going to say a few things about paying for housing. We're also going to talk about how to effectively use your stimulus check. Some of you have maybe already received yours while others are still waiting. And we want you to be able to use those resources that have been given to you in the best way possible. And then the last thing we're going to talk about is a partnership that DuPont Community Credit Union has with GreenPath Financial Wellness. They are full of information, a wealth of knowledge for you all, a lot of resources. So it would not be good if we left the webinar and we didn't share that with you today. So are you guys ready for me?
Yep, we are good. Can everybody see that screen now? Sorry for our technical difficulties. Go ahead, Sarah.
Okay. Well, when you're working remotely from home, sometimes these things happen. So thank everybody for your patience in the matter. So we're going to first of all talk about budgeting, kind of the basics, where it all begins. So the first thing that I'm going to recommend to you is to sit down and make a list of all of your expenses. It's important for you to know where your money is being spent, how you're spending it. Whether you want to just grab a notebook with paper and a pen and pencil, maybe you're someone who likes to use an Excel spreadsheet. Whatever format that you use, start making a list of the things that you spend your money on, your expenses. And I did want to also share with you yet another resource that GreenPath can offer you. Again, we'll talk a little bit more in detail about them closer to the end, but I would like to share with you a worksheet that they do have on their website. And it is basically worksheets and guides page that they have built. And there's a budgeting worksheet. So if you click on Get Started, basically what you're going to do, can you all see that? Can you see that? Because I can't see it from my side. So hopefully you can see the website. If you can't, you can go to that link and you'll see what I'm talking about. But basically, it's going to allow you to enter in your email, your first, your last name, and then some additional information. And once you submit it, you will get that worksheet. So that can also be another way for you to be able to figure out what your expenses are. So utilize that resource as well. And then the next thing is basically really identifying what your essential expenses are. And we always say food and shelter are the most important and are your top priorities. So make sure as you're listing those expenses, the essential expenses are definitely your food and shelter. They always are going to come first. And then also too, go through each expense and make a note of any payments that you can delay or due dates that you can change. So I'm going to recommend that you contact your utility company, your internet provider, or maybe even your cell phone provider, and ask if they are willing to waive any type of late fees, or maybe you can even work out a payment plan. And just as a side note, if you do contact one of those servicers and they are not willing to work with you, or they refuse to work with you that way, that might be who you want to pay first, because that way you're not racking up fees with them. And then the ones that you've made the payment arrangements with, that would be like your second priority, because you're not getting late fees or you're not being charged interest. And then review your living expenses and eliminate the things that you can live without. And believe it or not, during these unprecedented times, we have definitely been pushed to another level of learning what we can live without. And it's going to start way back when we learned what needs and wants are. So basically, as you are listing your expenses, you want to circle the items that are wants. They are no longer essential. And just some examples of things to look for as you're figuring out how you spend your money. Maybe you have subscriptions, magazine subscriptions. Maybe you have streaming services that you don't necessarily need. Maybe you're spending your time in isolation online shopping. Take a look at that. Make sure what you're buying online are essential. And maybe even clothing. It's kind of funny now, my clothing, what I'm wearing working remotely is a huge difference of what I would wear if I was out in person doing a presentation for you. So maybe you're no longer needing the style of clothing if you're working remotely. So take those things into consideration and try to eliminate the things that you can definitely live without. And then the next thing I'm going to recommend would be to identify other income resources. Again, those things that maybe you didn't think of. So first of all, I do want to give everybody a shout out if you are one of those people that had an emergency savings plan. That is one of the topics that I teach and have over the last 12 years when I've been teaching financial education, that I've tried to just ingrain in people's mind of how important it is to have an emergency savings. Not everybody does, but for those of you that do, congratulations. So you want to look for those liquid assets first. So drawing on cash savings accounts, working with your budget to determine how much you will need, know how much you're going to have to take out of that savings account, that emergency fund. And then once you determine what that amount is, make a plan to pay it back, because eventually you're going to need it. So as you're taking it, remember, what can I do as my income resumes? What can I do to pay that back? So once everything hopefully gets back to normal, then you will be able to pay yourself back. And then also, too, you might have to consider whether credit is a feasible option. So taking out a credit card or a personal loan, it's going to come with a rate of interest. You're going to pay interest on that. But that might be an option that you need to use right now. So be sure to look, if you do take this as a route during the process, that you want to look at the interest rate. Is it a low interest rate? Are they favorable terms? And then again, look at your budget, because if you're going to take a credit card out and you're going to use credit, or you're going to take a personal loan out, you're going to now have a payment. Does that payment fit into the budget, that budget that you have now during these times? And then also, too, do you have a retirement plan? You might be able to borrow against your retirement plan. Penalties could apply, and you may have to pay taxes. Just keep in mind that the CARES Act does provide relief for retirement plan distribution. But before you use this as an alternative, make sure you are contacting a tax advisor to get the best and the expert advice, because you may not want to do this based on your situation. So keep in mind that you want to check that out with an expert tax advisor. And to sell something. Maybe you have some items that you're no longer using that you could sell. We all know everybody likes to start a routine at the beginning of the year. Some people get new equipment, exercise equipment. That might be something that you could sell. Somebody else wants that during this time. Or maybe even electronics. Get your kids involved. This is a family affair. Everybody is being involved in this. Everybody is being affected by it. So get your kids involved. Maybe they have some of those electronic games that they want to sell. And if you do decide to make this an option, make sure you're social distancing. I would never say, go out and just start meeting with people and selling things. Make sure you use best practices if you do that. Also, too, look for a temporary job, maybe a part-time job, maybe work overtime. There are food delivery and essential service jobs that people are hiring. So maybe that could be an alternative until your income gets back to where it once was. And then just be creative. I have loved to watch the articles on the news and on the internet of people just finding new hobbies and things that they've created, and I love the creativity. I heard where one family, I can't remember if it was the mom or the dad, but they had gotten furloughed. And of course the kids are home from school. So they no longer have the child care costs, but they no longer also have the income that, was coming in. It was a 2-income household. Now it's just one. And they found that they had some neighbors who were still working, and they decided that they would walk their dogs during the day for a small charge, or they would go in and feed them and take care of them. So just be creative and look for ways that you could possibly have other income in your budget. And then also too, paying for housing. Kelsey already talked a little bit about this. I'm not going to say a whole lot other than I would encourage all homeowners to reach out to their loan servicers, whether it's a bank or a credit union, whether it's a mortgage company, to discuss payment options. You can learn about any type of resources that they offer to delay payments. You may be able to do a skip-a-pay, or you may be able to do interest-only payment. So make sure you are being proactive. This is vitally important for you now to be proactive. No one else is going to do it for you. So if you can learn about the resources that lenders are offering, not only mortgages, but personal loans, car loans, different things like that, that's going to only help you in the end. And then renters, I'm going to advise you to contact your landlords as soon as you can to talk about a delay or any type of partial payments. Most landlords are willing to work with good paying tenants. I mean, if you've been somebody who's paid on time every time since you've rented from your landlord, they know who you are. They know that you're not just paying your rent. They know there's a situation, and might be able to work it out to where you can make a lesser payment. Maybe, you can get your rent reduced. You have to remember that this is income for your landlord as well. So the quicker you talk to them and make out payment arrangements, then the better your outcome will be. And then that leads me into the stimulus checks. Hopefully everybody on the call today has received it. If you have not, hopefully it's coming, and it has been such a huge help to families. So what are some of those things that you can do with your stimulus check? First of all, essentials. Essentials are the most important thing that you need. So you need to prioritize. What are those essentials? Maybe you take a medication that you can't live without. That is essential. Food, we talked about that earlier. Housing, we talked about that earlier. Your utilities, your water, your heat, electricity, these are the essential things that you need to help you stay healthy. That is your number one priority during this time. And then you might want to consider putting at least some of the money back into an emergency savings. You can tell I'm a fan of that. I'll say that forever, have an emergency savings. You might want to put some of that back. So this would provide you with that peace of mind, and we all need that right now. So put that back, put some of it back into your emergency savings. And then also too, we've talked about housing, and if you can afford to use this particular money to pay for housing, then I recommend that you do, because eventually you're going to have to pay, whether it's a mortgage payment or whether it's your rent, you're eventually going to have to. So you might want to consider if you can afford it. And then transportation. It is important to have transportation, especially if you need it to go to work. You would want to use this maybe for your car payment. If you have a lease payment, you can definitely use it for that, so you don't default on your car loan and then have your vehicle repossessed. That would be no fun for you. So you might want to use it for transportation purposes. And then also too, maybe you can use the money and put it towards some unsecured debt, maybe like credit cards. It could be that maybe you have a small balance on a credit card. You can pay it off. Then you free that payment up in your budget, and you no longer have it. And then the next thing that I want to talk to you about is GreenPath, and DCC used partnership with GreenPath. So basically, who is GreenPath? And they are a not-for-profit company that helps people achieve financial goals. They offer guidance in a lot of different areas. They can help with money management, issues, housing counseling, debt repayment, and more. They provide a wealth of knowledge. They are experts, and we recommend them to you, even if you're not struggling during this time. It's always good to have that financial snapshot of, what's going on in your situation. So I'm going to take you out to the website. I'll go back. And I want to show you how you can access GreenPath from our website. So it's mydccu.com. And if we go to the resources tab and we go to GreenPath Financial Wellness, and this is just a page that kind of describes a little bit about what they do. So we're going to go down to visit us online, click on accept, because it's going to take you to GreenPath's website. And what you'll see is GreenPath's website, as well as in partnership with DuPont Community Credit Union. So you know this is a reputable site because we are partners with them. So like I said, GreenPath provides a lot of resources. You might just want to call somebody and say, hey, I need help preparing a budget. Can you help me? I need some financial counseling. I need some advice. You can do that. All of those types of resources are free. They're free to the community. They're free to our members. If you need a debt management program, that can cost. So if you do need to access something more than the financial counseling, you could start an account with DCCU for $5, and then that would open full access up to GreenPath. But providing that financial counseling, that budgeting, anything like that is free, and you can contact them. So you can see that they've built a page, and if you click on Learn More, this is a page that is specifically for COVID-19. And as you scroll down the page, you'll see some videos from their CEO. You'll see some blog posts, some information. What I really like here is that they have provided a lot of organizations and links out to the organizations that you may need to contact depending on your service, your situation. There's unemployment. I like this one at the bottom where it talks about unemployment, Department of Labor's website. So if you need to contact them for some reason. So check over this particular page and see, what the offerings are. And then if you want GreenPath to call you, you can click on Request a Call. It's going to give you a form to fill out, and then they will call you, and you can talk to them. And it is, like I said, it is free for the financial counseling, budgeting, things like that, and it is anonymous. We don't know that you called them. We don't know that your situation, sometimes people don't like to share their situation. So it is free and it is anonymous. And then the last thing that I want to talk to you about today would be some other resources. So on mydccu.com, we have a couple of different parts of our website that have been specifically built for COVID-19. So we have member financial assistance. If you are a DCCU member, if you go to this page, it will share with you some of the options for paying your loans during this time, interest-only loan options, different things like that. And then the other page that has been built specifically for COVID-19 is just updates and resources. And you can see there's a financial wellness page, there's a financial assistance page, and different things like that. Frequently asked questions. So use that as a resource for you. And then also too, I always give a shout out to our United Way of Greater Augusta. I believe the name is changing to SAL now. They are a fabulous organization to work with, and they provide so many resources. And I'm just going to show you their website. I'm going to take you there. and they have a page that is specifically for COVID-19, and you can click on Learn More, and then you see, maybe, I must have opened another page accidentally. Okay, so you can see here, if you keep scrolling, you can see the different community resource guides. They are allowing you to get in contact with the different organizations that provide childcare, nonprofit services, resources in the area that can help you. So check out their website because it is fabulous. And I just, highly recommend that you use as many resources that are out there, reputable resources. We do have on our website, under the financial wellness page, it does talk a little bit about fraud. I don't have a whole lot of time to talk about that today, but anytime there is issues in the economy, you always have to watch out for fraud. So we do have on our page fraud prevention. Check that out too and read it to make sure you're working with only reputable organizations. So I know that was a lot of information to throw at you in this little bit of time. I thank you for listening. Sometimes, if you're like me, it takes me a while to process things. So if you have any questions whatsoever, once you think about it and you need to contact me, this is my contact information. And if you would like a copy of the presentation for today, I can email that to you as well. So just contact me at slandrum@mydccu.com, and I will send that to you as well, so you can have it as a point of reference. I like having my PowerPoint so I can take notes when I'm sitting in class. So if you need it, just let me know. And that's basically all I have for you today. I just wish everyone well, and I just want to reiterate one more time, be proactive. This is your situation. You need to reach out. You need to ask for help. I think everybody needs help in some degree at this time, so please ask for it. So thank
Awesome.
you. And do we have any questions?
Thank you, Sarah and Kelsey. That was wonderful information. I like Christy, what she just commented in the chat. You're a wealth of information, pun intended. We appreciate both of you so much. All of our local banks and credit unions have done an amazing job with getting out information, helping their customers and their members, and we just appreciate you all so much. DuPont has put out a couple of really great handouts. You can find those on their website, and then we also shared them in our member messages email with some really good information you can share, and I know they're happy to have their information shared and their Facebook and website informations as well. Does anybody have any questions as we're wrapping up? I didn't see anything in the comments, but if anybody has a question, you can unmute yourself and shout it out. And we've also got this posted on our Facebook page, so it will be available to you there as well to share. Awesome. Well, we will wrap it up there. We appreciate everybody being here. Thank you so much to Sarah Landrum from DuPont Community Credit Union and Kelsey Meredith from the Salvation Army for being part of our webinar today. That was awesome information. Hopefully that will be able to be a great resource for all of our community. If you do have any questions, please give us a call or send us an email here at the Chamber office. We are available to you as you need us. We appreciate you guys and hope you have an awesome day. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.